We hold these truths to be self-evident. All men and women created by go. You know the thing.
And this might be that opportunity where I can finally become cool.
Hey,
SOCO. Hey,
Matt.
what's up?
Nothing. Actually, there is something.
What is it?
We got some sort of letter.
We got a letter?
Check
Like,
it out. Yeah.
Like an email or like a paper letter?
Oh, email. We don't do that here. We don't take letters, physical
We
letters.
don't.
No.
I'm kind of sad to hear that.
We definitely don't. We can't afford to. That requires actually having a place, and we don't have that.
Oh yeah, here's the email. Do you want to read it? I can read it. Who wants to read it?
You read it. You have a better
Okay.
voice.
Oh, it's from Joseph Bideman, our secret investor. I guess it's not so secret anymore. This it's okay. Here's what it says.
Okay.
Greetings, everyone. This is Joseph Bideman of Bideman, Byman and Associates.
Whoa. Wait, what? This
Yeah.
person really exists? Like, you talked about him last time. He really...
Yeah, the picture on his Gmail profile kind of looks a little bit like Theodore Roosevelt, but also kind of looks like Joe Biden if he wore a mustache and glasses.
Wow, I can't believe this actually exists. Okay. Go on.
I'm pleased with the progress of the show so far and want to congratulate you all on a stupendous first episode. Now, I do not wish to pressure any of you, as I know we are all very busy and overwhelmed in this time of COVID. But it is important that we stick to our contractual agreement as outlined in Section 4, Paragraph 2 of the Welcome Back Biden Development Contract, as it states. Wait a minute.
What?
Who? Did you sign a contract? I didn't sign a contract.
I don't recall Oh, shit. Oh, Matt.
What?
Remember when we went to, remember when we went to Old Dump Road?
Like, which time?
Like
2018? 2005? We've gone there a lot.
It must have been, back just some month. Oh, yeah, some time ago. I don't remember exactly. Oh, it must have been like a month or 2 months ago, 4 months ago, maybe.
Oh, like for the full moon ritual that I was doing that you came along with?
Yes.
That was very sweet of you. I appreciated that.
Yes. And
oh yeah, that's right. That was the guy in the hood. He was like the hooded figure.
I thought he
wanted us to. He wanted our blood for something. I don't remember what.
Yeah, you remember?
I just give strangers my blood, so it didn't seem like that big of a deal.
Well, it kind of freaked me out because he took the piece of hay and dipped it in some blood and told us to sign this piece of paper. I mean, I didn't want to question it.
Yeah, that's that they do that in occult circles. It's not a big deal, but I guess it was a contract for this development thing. Okay, so here's what it says.
Contract in some sort. Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
It says, the contract says, podcasters will create one episode of Welcome Back Biden per week in return for, to be decided, amount of dollars in Joseph Bideman's offshore oil investments. The stipulation that all involved say something nice about the President of the United States. As of the signing of this document, President-elect Joseph Robinette Biden Jr. until end of contractual agreement to be decided. I didn't know that Joe Biden's middle name was Robinette. And he's a junior. Huh.
Oh, oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's new. So the end of the email goes on to say, I hope you all have very nice things to say about the president-elect because he is a little disappointed with what was said about him last episode.
Huh.
But nevertheless, the focus groups favor positively with the first podcast. So keep at it, boys. All right.
Oh.
There's a little bit left. You want me to finish it real quick?
Yeah, go ahead. All right, this is... Wow.
Oh, no, this is all what you call administrative, just stuff about the logo and the intro to the podcast. And then there's this last part that says, I hope you are all in good health and are having a swell day. If you need me for the next week, I will be out of reach, unfortunately, at a private island getaway with many famous scientists, but I will make sure that my secretary has access to the email account. Thanks and goodbye, Joseph H. Bideman, and Associates, LLC. All right.
Matt,
Yeah.
a corporation owns us, is what you're telling me.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's what the blood contract might mean. You know, it might put us in some trouble.
Oh, shit. I thought we were doing this for fun. But it turns out we just signed a contract where we have to do this all weekly.
No, it's not my first contract, so maybe there's a buyback option. We'll have to read through it, a little more in depth.
Oh, shit.
If I can find it, I don't know. He didn't give us any copies. Honestly, I thought he was just like asking us to sign our names as like part of the guest list. So,
Well, I mean, I was really scared. I just signed whatever I needed to sign to get out of that situation. So,
fair enough.
Well, all right. Well, here we are.
Here we are. It's the Welcome Back Biden podcast, which we will be contractually stipulated to do probably until the end of our lives and sometime after as ghosts. So,
well, that's what corporations do to you, or whatever. Somebody when they own you, that is. I can't believe I'm owned by somebody. Oh,
well, SOCO, how has the week been for you, despite all this sudden news?
Dreary. Because it's so cold.
Yeah, it has. It sure has been cold. I kind of hate it. Actually, I'm finding.
I hate it a lot. I'm freezing.
I used to like the cold weather a lot, and then I don't know what happened. I guess like I lost a bunch of weight, and I spent a lot of time in Portland, Oregon, and it's cold there pretty much most of the year, except for a couple weeks during the summer. Mm-hmm. I don't know. During most of the summer, it warms up pretty well, but it is cold there a lot. And speaking of Oregon, I don't know if you heard about this news concerning. So, two things happened in the state of Oregon during this last election. One, and I had no idea about this, the state of Oregon decriminalized all drug possession.
Oh, okay, go on.
And it's a pretty huge thing in the sense that no other state has done this. I mean, as far as I'm aware, internationally, probably Amsterdam and maybe a few other places have something like this.
Okay.
It's a law that's basically, it's kind of like a reallocation of funds type of law. So they're basically reallocating funds in the police departments to not focus on arresting people who possess small amounts of drugs, whatever the drugs are. And that's kind of the big part of it, right? Like it's like any drug is kind of go on.
Okay. So even if you have like crystal meth or anything, is what you're telling me.
Right. If it's a small amount, you won't be arrested, but you'll be fined. Oh, wow. So it kind of, I mean, that's usually the case with a lot of decriminalized laws. I mean, that was the way it was with cannabis before they legalized it.
Okay.
I gotta tell you.
So go ahead, Sogo. It's not going to be like, well, it's a state law. So is it going to be? It's not going to be like a felony or anything like that. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, I mean, are you saying it would still be a felony federally?
Okay.
Right. Okay. I mean, that's the other side of that. Okay. So there you have it. But more importantly, and went completely under the radar, and I had heard about this when I was still in Portland, was they were trying to pass this ballot in the 2020 election to legalize the use of psilocybin mushrooms under professional supervision. Okay. So that got legalized, like that bill passed. Now there's still got to be like a 2-year. There's like a 2-year period where they're going to go through all the regulatory stuff. Okay. So all the the state House and Senate, the legislature is going to go back and forth and figure out how all that's going to work. But the basic idea is that professional counselors, psychologists, whatever, can now administrate psilocybin mushrooms to patients, basically.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, it's huge because it opens up, and now legally opens up a huge swath um, of researchers who want to do research on the effects of psychedelics and mental health.
Hmm.
But then the other part, and this is from my personal opinion, is that it's going to help a lot of people heal from some mental health stuff. So I'm excited to hear about that. I hope more states adopt that kind of measure. It's something that's a lot of people who are into psychedelics have been pushing for a long time, and this is the first big crack in that movement.
Actually, that's actually kind of. I wonder how it's gonna all work out.
Oh,
Um,
I have no idea. No idea. I mean, because like when I first heard about the decriminalization of drugs in Oregon, I was like, oh, geez, I'm glad I'm not living there anymore. But like, and I don't know, that's like a half. There's two sides to that statement too, because like it's probably going to make a lot of people's lives better, right? Less
yeah.
people are in prison. Less people are like dealing with the cops in those kind of situations. But the other part is you're gonna have more issues. You're probably gonna have more issues with addiction statewide. But another part of the bill was that a lot of the reallocated funds would go to addiction services. So the other part of that is that the legalization of psilocybin aspect
Yeah.
means that more people who are struggling with addiction can do psychedelic therapy, and there's pretty strong evidence that, especially with psilocybin mushrooms,
Mm-hmm.
people can kick habits pretty fast.
I see. Well, this is well, you say all that. Maybe addictions may go up, but usually, I mean, I wonder if you know if people are gonna just go and blame. Hey, now you're allowing this to happen. Yeah, of course they're gonna go up. No, I don't necessarily think so. I think there's other factors at play too. Um, usually
Oh
always.
yeah, there was like a huge meth.
Hmm.
Like meth was a huge problem especially in the Portland area when I first moved in.
Mhm.
Um, that was back in 2011, and it was still kind of a problem. So like I'm sure it's not going to be less of a problem, right? Like it's gonna still, even decriminalize, it's probably still going to be an issue
Yeah.
for that area.
Well, that that comes actually along. It's kind of funny you're talking about this, and now I'm sure you heard just kind of recently that bill just got passed through the House, decriminalize. It's called I think it's called the MORE Act.
I haven't heard
Uh,
about this. What's up with the MORE Act?
that was pushed by Barbara Lee in the House of Representatives. Barbara Lee, and I forget the other person. Um, essentially decriminalizing marijuana on a federal level. Yeah, it got pushed
My
through.
bill. I've been waiting for this bill.
It finally happened. Yeah, I believe it's called the MORE Act. Let me double check one more time. And yes, it is. It's called the MORE Act.
Don't play with my heart, Soko. So like, what's the deal with this bill? Like, it clearly
Oh,
hasn't.
I don't know too much.
Okay.
I can't give you. Oh, is it? Let me double check again one more time. I'm trying to find it.
How
Right here
dare you
now we
play
have.
with my heart like this?
um. Oh man. Yeah, they just. I know it. I
Well, we can come back
believe.
to it at a
Yeah.
later date. Maybe we can save that for another episode.
Okay. I thought. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway. Well, it's gonna get pushed into by the House. It's probably gonna die in the Senate though. So, um, that's what I think.
What gives you the indication that would die in the Senate?
I think the Republican side will kill it. Um,
Maybe,
uh,
maybe.
I mean,
Here's the thing about cannabis
Mhm.
is that it makes a lot of money, and a lot of states are figuring that out, and I think Republicans are going to start figuring that out eventually because, and this is kind of a cynical thing to say, but I think at some point, as soon as Republicans figure out that you can make a shit ton of money with cannabis, they're going to be suddenly like all on board. Probably in the worst ways, right? But still. I know it's been a long time thing of like Republicans trying to resist cannabis legalization for the longest time because some vague sense of everybody's morals being degenerated or whatever.
Yeah. That yeah, I we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out what the Senate's going to do. I mean,
Yeah.
usually, I mean, it's a politics game. It's always a politics game. It's they may a lot of people may like it. I mean, a lot of people want it. There's no doubt. A lot of people do want this. It's not like majority of the country doesn't want it. But I think that's the issue. Um, they don't. I think this is where politics come into play. Republicans don't want Democrats to get credit for something that
Of course. Of course. I
so
believe it, but I'm also just like, if that's the case, like, T Dog over in the White House, now is the time to pass like some big executive action being like, well, we're just going to decriminalize, or I don't really know what you can do as an executive action as a president. I imagine the way it's been used lately, you can do whatever the hell you want. It
well,
seems that way.
well, T Dog certainly has. I like we call him T Dog. T Dog.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to refer to him from now on.
T Dog. Yeah, let's just keep T Dog. T Dog is he certainly pushed the limit on the executive orders, the power of that, what the
Yeah.
president can do, which actually was something that a lot of people are like, well, hey, he really pushed the limit. This really kind of tells like the new administration coming in that what they can do.
Yeah, well, so the more I'm thinking about it, he probably could pass an executive action to decriminalize cannabis nationwide, because what he could basically do is the same thing like Oregon did with decriminalizing decriminalizing drug possession under a certain amount, which is to say we're going to reallocate funds in the DEA and the Department of Justice to focus less on drug possession, felonies.
Yeah, I wonder if
So I'm waiting, T Dog. Come on.
T Dog. I wonder if he would do that. I don't know how his personal feelings are towards marijuana. I know he doesn't drink alcohol.
No, he's apparently very straight edge. Although there is some indication that he might have been dipping into amphetamines.
Oh, dun, dun,
during his presidency.
Oh, during his I didn't know that.
Well, there's been a lot of speculation about it because I don't know if you've heard some of his. There are speeches where he is like kind of slurring his speech a little bit, and it sounds like his mouth is really dry. And a lot of people are speculating he's taken some kind of pills, either uppers or like something else to kind of keep him going.
Oh, well, I mean, I wonder. I mean,
he wouldn't be the first.
I mean, he could just have a dry mouth.
Yeah, he could also just be an old man who has dry mouth. Totally plausible. It could be from all those McDonald's burgers he is like choking down
and stuffing himself with chocolate cake.
That's the thing. This is nobody ever mentions this, which is that he could just be an old man who eats too much fast food.
I mean, it's totally possible. Oh man. No, but well, I'm wondering to see what happens with this drug possession stuff. It's I actually wonder what with the new administration what is going to happen with even because I know I've heard that Kamala Harris was even pushing out for for legalization,
Yeah.
I believe, or decriminalization. I know we're throwing around these terms, and they're probably all, they probably all mean something different. So,
What? Like
decriminalize,
decriminalization?
legalize,
Yeah. Yeah, I
decriminalizing
mean,
definitely different from legalization, right?
yeah, right. It's
So,
definitely because decriminalization only ever refers to the concept or the order to law enforcement to no longer penalize people, prosecute them criminally, basically.
hmm
You still get what do they call it, like civil fines. I mean, it becomes like jaywalking or um a traffic violation, things like that. So I mean, you could be caught possessing pot and have to pay like $500, which is still sucks, right? Like,
yeah,
uh, but it's better than not being in jail. So there's that.
yeah. Well, yeah, that would be cool if that happens. Because I mean, a lot of people they get. I mean, I think in the past year or two, I've seen so much information about people getting um, treated unfairly when it comes to criminalization of marijuana. Uh, Specifically, a lot of people in the Black and Brown communities
Right.
um, tend to deal with higher fines, have to deal with uh, imprisonment sentences,
Yeah.
and that doesn't. So, I mean, getting rid of this might help address a lot of those issues. But wait and see, right? Wait and
Yeah.
see.
Wait and see that. And that's in Oregon, I'm pretty sure that was part of the idea behind the decriminalization bill they got passed, was that I think a major part of it was as a well, I mean, I kind of already mentioned that, but it is sort of like a defund the police sort of thing. It's
Mhm.
like related to a lot of the Black Lives Matter activism and stuff that's going on for Oregon right now. So
Oh man, people have
hopefully,
been.
I'd be interested to see more of that kind of thing happen across the country. But Oregon, we get to see be the first real guinea pig stepping up into the ring for it.
They always seem to be the first guinea pigs to be stepping up on something, if I recall.
Yeah, it's, it's an
I don't know if it's
interesting
gonna.
state.
Yeah. Um, has there been anything that Dave started that's really spread around and you can think of immediately?
Um, like sassy bistro restaurants. I don't know. Nothing important. Serving beer in mason jars at restaurants and acting like it's like some kind of suave thing.
Okay, so they just contribute to some of the douchebaggery.
No, I don't know. Like, well, because California had pioneered the cannabis game, and Oregon kind of copied after them, and so did Washington.
Yeah.
And so this is kind of a new development where Oregon is sort of becoming the avant-garde in terms of political experimentation.
Oh, this would be interesting. Um, yeah, I mean, I know, Portland. Actually, it's funny, those areas. It's interesting because those areas like Portland, you mentioned California. They do have those nicknames. That's where a lot of the tech companies are.
Right.
And I know, and same with Austin too, Austin, Texas. Um, uh, they tend to be a bit more weed friendly, I would
Yeah.
say.
Right.
Wonder if it's connected to all with tech. I don't know.
Oh, I'm excited. So here's what I keep thinking about lately is I'm excited to see what happens with all of the people from California moving to Austin, Texas, and Texas in general.
Mhm.
Because what I'm hoping is that means that we're going to see the beginnings of weed decriminalization or even legalization in the South. Because that'll be wild when that happens. That'll be very interesting.
Well, Louisiana seems to might be going that direction too in the future, huh?
Well, so this is just going to be the drug episode, I guess. But so yeah, I mean, this is actually happened just this year. Governor John Bell Edwards in the legislature got passed a bill
Mhm,
that is essentially like California's medical marijuana bill before it legalized marijuana.
mhm,
So now doctors can prescribe patients cannabis based on whatever they deem an element, or whatever they deem requiring prescription.
okay.
So very likely we will probably see doctors clinics begin to pop up at some point that are doctors who are just writing prescriptions willy-nilly for people to get medical marijuana, which I'm fine with, but you know that's that's the nature of the game.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Who would have thought? I still remember going to my dare stuff and being told to say no to everything. And now we're here.
Now drugs will have to say no to us.
Oh man. Well, hey, we can have actually a deeper episode on the Moore Act. That did happen. Yeah, I just
Yeah.
found it. It did happen.
Okay.
Yeah, I see a headline. House votes to decriminalize marijuana at federal level. That's going to happen. But getting it to the Senate, that's going to be
Yeah.
um, another another concern. And I'm sorry, not the Moore Act. Um, it's called I believe it is called ah it is called the Justice Act. And
All
the
right.
Moore Act was something in the past, I believe. Um, let's see. Congresswoman Barbara Lee applauds the historic passage of comprehensive marijuana reform legislation. Today released a statement following the historic passage of the marijuana. Oh no. Okay, we'll find out more. I don't know
Yeah.
what it's called.
That seems
But
above our knowledge pool for this episode.
yes, yes. Okay. Well, this is all well said, and we're gonna see what happens. We'll have a future episode dealing with this some more. But let's go on to another topic, still dealing with our politics.
All
Okay.
right.
We're having I think we're all wondering what's gonna happen under the new administration. Um and certainly even as I mean, one big deal right now, I think we all know there's a lot of people now leaving. One being Ajit Pai, I believe, right? As our
Oh, right. The FCC commissioner?
yes. I mean, this was just brought up to us by our producer, actually. 'Cause we're just talking, and he just kind of brought it up to us, right, Matt?
Yeah.
Uh, but like, I mean, uh, and we can probably have a bigger episode because he supposedly did a lot to damage. I think with net neutrality, right? If I'm not mistaken. Which
So yeah, a lot has happened. I guess I don't know, because I thought Ajit Pai was originally like an Obama years person,
okay,
if I recall correctly, because that was when all the net neutrality stuff started to really come up, and then in the last 4 years we've had SOPA, and I can't remember the other bill, but it basically, like, SOPA and the other bill that whose name I cannot recall, kind of changed the way the internet has behaved, and pretty drastically,
I
because
I vaguely
Tumblr
remember
could no
that.
longer have porn blogs, and so somehow Tumblr still exists despite this. I don't know. I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me. But but
Actually,
it
I
had
vaguely remember the soap. I vaguely
yeah.
remember that bill vaguely. But go ahead.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's changed a lot in the way YouTube is filtering content and deals with censoring content, and I mean most social networking sites now are very very conscious and self-aware about potentially sexual content, nudity, etc.
Well, they're filtering. They give me a lot of videos. Okay, I was watching a lot of Dragon Ball Z videos, and they've given me lots of Dragon Ball Z videos now. I get a lot of these videos about posing. They have these DBZ. I don't know what the song's called. I guess it's called Pose. And they have these whole bunch of DBZ characters. They strike a pose, and the song is going in the background. I keep on getting these videos now. So
We have to be careful. I hope they never pass a law outlawing Dragon Ball Z videos. That would be a sad day for the internet.
well, but I'm bringing up these. Ajit here is leaving, and others are leaving too, and we're kind of wondering what the future is going to be like. And well, I mean, not right now. There's going to be, and has been happening all kind of week. There's going to be now. Are you familiar with Neera Tandon?
I have only heard the name in passing. I don't really know everything going on with this person. So
Okay.
please familiarize me with
Well, I'm not sure
the
how long
saga.
I'm going to try here. I'm going to try to get you familiarized with her. But she just got, tapped for an appointment to to be the head of the Office of Management and Budgeting. Okay.
Okay.
This one's kind of a big deal office because, well, it handles all the kind of the president's budget proposals for all
Okay.
the agencies and such. Okay. And a lot of people got upset with this, both from the left and the right. Now, of course, the right being like GOP are upset, but they're usually going to be upset about something. So,
Yeah, it can't be helped.
I don't think it's too interesting to always kind of explore. Um, but then. But the left side, and it's splitting. Leftists, like progressives,
Right.
are really kind of upset with this, mostly because of the stuff people have. And it's the funny thing is, it's a lot of it's online. So,
Oh, so was she shit posting or something? I need to
yeah,
know more.
it's it's absolutely crazy. No, I've seen this in action too. There's a lot of other stuff too. A lot of people are more upset with her behavior than anything else.
Okay.
And then I think there's also fear about policies she's going to push, which I'm kind of annoyed by. But I actually was listening to one of my favorite podcasts, Chapo Trap House.
Yeah.
One of their latest episodes. It's called Office of. Well, I say Mario and Brothers. I found out they say Mario and Brothers. Whoever, potato. Okay, that was the name of the episode.
I'll
But
accept it.
and in reference to OMB, ha ha ha. If you guys get it, no, okay, never mind.
No, I don't. Wait. What's
Office of
OMB?
Management and Budgeting, Office of Mario.
Oh, okay. All right.
They talk about Mario Brothers, but they kind of brought up some points there. And I initially annoyed, but there's nothing you can do at this point. This idea that the left was going to push, or progressives were going to push the Democrats more left, it's not going to happen.
Well, I think as much as they were going to do, it happened. So, like, in other words, the peak of what the quote, like what the progressive left was capable of in the last 4 years, we hit that peak basically before the election.
Yeah.
And so at this point, it's just the slow withdrawal of the tide as we enter into whatever this. I'm going to assume it's going to be a staunchly centrist sort of next 4 years.
And I think that's what people are kind of. I think you're right.
Everybody
You're right.
hates centrists. Everybody hates centrists, even the centrists.
They even hate themselves.
Yeah.
Wow. No, but yeah. You're right. It's just like, well, there's nothing that can be done at this point. It's done.
Yeah.
But many are but it was kind of funny. So with Neera Tanden, I mean, the big upsets, there's a lot of things in here. A lot of it actually has to deal. I mean, some people are pointing out policy problems. They're afraid she's going to call for like cuts in Social Security or something of that nature. And people have been posting videos about stuff she said back in like, what was it, 2010? I forget exactly when. Though it's hard to understand her. I was trying to understand her, and she's just like rambling. So,
Is there any precedent in her past behavior that she would be doing stuff like that? Like, why Social Security cuts?
because she was in what was it dealing with? I want to say, see, the videos were kind of showing her talking about it and her being involved with some sort of cuts, and some people are saying that's kind of the precedence is that's what they're claiming as, hey, if she did this in the past, she's going to do it again in the future.
Sure, I mean that's the same. I mean that's really similar to how, myself included, a lot of the left have treated Kamala Harris, because she has had something of a record of being sort of a aggressive prosecutor, right? So, the general meme was, oh, okay, well, when Joe Biden dies and she becomes president, like, she'll be super cop basically and put everybody in jail. But like, once again, it's like you don't really know until we're not going to know, right? Until Neera assumes office, basically.
No, that's true. That is definitely true.
I mean, we went through 4 years of T-Dog being president, and everybody was waiting for like the rise of the Fourth Reich, and the South would rise again, and then KKK would show up out of nowhere and just take over the White House. And I mean, we got about 2 months left here, so I don't know.
And it's a crazy 2 months. We get talking. He's just going everywhere, shooting left, right, whatever he can do. But anyway, with Neera, I mean, there's other stuff too.
Sure.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with this, but WikiLeaks did release like emails some years ago with her, because the thing is with Neera, she was also a big favorite for Clinton. Actually, if Clinton had won in 2016, she was going to have a major role. Probably.
So that's why everybody's pissed off.
Well, and there were like suggestions, like one WikiLeaks email exchange. Basically, she was talking about. I mean, she kind of suggested an idea. It was between, I don't know who were all involved, but she actually Fez Shakir, who was Bernie Sanders' campaign manager, actually worked for her for a while, was in this email exchange, and she was suggesting about ways to, well, basically she was suggesting just taking money away from oil producing countries to help pay off the deficit.
Does she have any connection to the CIA?
It really worries a lot of people in that sense. But I think the big worry with that showing kind of her behavior, actually, I think that's actually the biggest worry, is her kind of behavior.
Sure.
She, because honestly, on Twitter, oh my God, it is just utterly insane. She actually, the funny thing is, and I'm telling this right now because I mentioned a lot of this stuff with controversy social media. The one thing that's interesting enough is that she is going to have to be confirmed by the Senate, right?
Yeah.
And she supposedly, when she got tapped on the shoulder for this position, she supposedly went on her Twitter and deleted about 1,000 tweets, possibly talking about representatives and senators and such, making some negative comments.
It's always a good sign.
So, she and on, oh my God, on Twitter, no, she is really hated by a lot of people. for some of her behavior.
Maybe I
Actually,
need to follow her Twitter. Jeez, this sounds
oh,
fun.
well, she
Should
well,
probably block me. Is that what you're gonna say?
she may have, for all I know. She actually did, and this is funny. She's known for her kind of abusive behavior.
Okay.
That I say known, but like the one infamous story is, and New York Times actually did a story on her some years ago, and there was accusations from Faiz Shakir. I mentioned him a little earlier.
Right.
That he claimed that I believe he claimed that she punched him. Okay. After, because she actually, okay, Neera Tanden, the thing is, she works for she's right now, I believe, the vice president for the Center of American Progress, which is
Okay.
kind of a progressive think tank. And
Okay.
and they also had I guess a journalist division called Think Progress. They were just basically
Okay.
reporting, trying to push for more progressive issues. Um, and Fez Shakir was actually a journalist for them, if I'm not mistaken. And he actually, I guess, got a chance to do some questioning with Hillary Clinton. And I guess he asked some
All
very
right.
pointed questions or something. Um, and after, I guess, he did this questioning of her, and Neera Tanden came up to him, was really upset about what he had done. I guess these were some really, like, I forgot what the questions were, but they were just I guess really subjects that could be touchy. Okay. And she was
Okay.
upset by it, and he said she punched him. But she said, and it's good, you can look at the New York Times article on this. She said, I didn't punch him. I think she said she pushed him. She's still
So she's a CIA operative, is what you're telling me. I mean, that's fine. Whatever.
well, I mean, like,
Like,
still, like, kind of, it's still kind of physical assault, though, right?
yeah. Well, yeah. Of course.
Um,
Of course.
and there's a lot of other people too who've had. I mean, if you look at some of her email exchange that WikiLeaks released, with a lot of with her some years ago, and these were exchanged between her and Clinton, if I'm not mistaken, maybe, or well, look it up. We can look it up. I forget what were all these exchanges with, but um, she she said some really terrible things about some of the people who worked for her, who are all kind of like own famous journalists now. Fez Shakir, I mean, like I mentioned, was the head for Bernie Sanders.
Yeah.
She really did not like him. I think she called him a fucker. No,
Bernie
not Bernie Sanders.
Sanders.
And
Oh.
but I think she said some pretty negative things online about Bernie Sanders too.
Okay.
She called Fez Shakir a fucker. She called, there's the other two, who it's kind of causing a lot of controversy right now, Li Fong, and Zed Jalan, who also causes a lot of controversy. But she also they're pretty they do a lot of reporting. Uh, they're pretty well known for their reporting, and she called them freaks. And
What is going on?
I don't forget what else she's
Are you sure this isn't just Trump?
I mean, she didn't do it on a public statement. She didn't say that. These were like private
Okay.
emails. So I guess, well, people will say stuff. But like it was just kind of funny. And she I mean, and then like online it's just like crazy, to whereas some people will say something to her, she posts a comment, they say something, and then suddenly she tweets back. But the insane part is that she sometimes tweets in the middle of the night, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning.
No.
She is like up, like tweet, it's like, go to sleep. What are you doing?
Oh.
And she was like,
This is incredible.
And then like actually think progress is, well, it's pretty much defunct now because she also
Okay.
they actually shut off that division. Okay. Center for American Progress said something along the lines of um they couldn't, I believe they couldn't really support think progress anymore, that division.
Okay.
um they just didn't have the money for it, so uh they shut it down, right? But after they shut it down, okay, about a week later, they said, "Hey, we're bringing it back." Okay? And this really made a lot of people angry because the one thing was, keep in mind, Center for American Progress, it's progressive, right?
Yeah.
They had a union. Think Progress
Right.
had a union. Okay? And with them shutting down that division, they destroyed the union in the process.
Ah.
So, and it,
So are you saying it was an anti-union move? Like they did it just to get rid of the union and then
that's
start
what a
over?
lot of people have concluded. I don't think there's ever been a
Okay. I mean, I could
formal
see that.
statement, but she's part of the management. She's the vice
Yeah.
president. She's part of that. And I remember when I saw that happen, when the announcement of Think Progress going down, uh, and then this suddenly happened. A lot of people were so pissed that they were tweeting at her saying, this is something that you'll hear sometimes. It's called you ever heard the term scab? You know the term scab that
Yeah.
union folks will call, like
Yeah.
someone who crosses the picket line when you're on. Okay,
Right.
well they called her a rat. There's a kind of a thing that people will call them Scabby the rat. They started tweeting her, calling her Scabby the rat, and she was just like blocking people. Like, a lot of people were like, "Oh, I just got blocked."
Oh, I feel like I've known people like Neera Tandon who are just like singly focused on their not even their career, but just their general position to such an extent that they are willing to just throw everything and everybody under the bus and then still act virtuous at the end of the day. I mean, good luck to the OMB. She'll probably have the whole place burned down, but it'll be fun. Did we lose SOCO? I think we lost SOCO. I think Joseph Bideman might have cut our feed to SOCO, so now we're just kind of stuck here with me to narrate with y'all. So let me tell y'all what I believe may have happened. Neera Tandon might have actually been listening in on our conversation and just destroyed SOCO's internet. And I have no proof of this whatsoever, but it's a little bit convenient. If it wasn't Neera Tandon, it was at least the CIA, right? Like probably working for Neera. Like Neera probably hacked into this feed and was like, I can't believe more people are talking about me like this. So I'm just gonna have to. Oh yeah, Soga just got booted. Holy crap! Oh, Soga's back. I don't
I,
know why they went for you and not me though.
Speaker of truth. No, I accidentally unplugged something.
You think you accidentally unplugged it, but that was HARP. What does HARP stand for again? Shooting all that radiation into the atmosphere and playing with your brain. You don't even know what you're doing. Just unplugging it without.
All right. Well, hey, I'm back. So, anyway, getting on to, well, we're gonna have her coming in probably. I mean, she might not make it. I should note. Actually, there's one thing I did want to address here.
Okay.
There was something else I wanted to say, and it was kind of funny that she got picked. A lot of people were like, it was either because some people think that she was picked because, hey, it's a middle finger to progressives. That's what Biden is saying.
Sure.
Others are saying, oh, he picked her Or some people are like, well, he might have picked her and he just didn't know about what was happening online. And that could be the case too. Who knows? Um, uh, but the funny thing was actually why she was picked partially um, was, and I heard this from the Biden, I want to say I heard it on Rising, which is another kind of news source I go from time to time to. They he had picked her because they thought this would actually not be a middle finger towards progressives, but rather be something that progressives would be happy about. They thought that because Neera Tanden is a woman of color, she's of Indian descent. Okay,
Right.
They thought that would please progressives like Ilhan Omar, AOC, Rashida Tlaib. They thought they would be happy with that. Just based on that, they're like, "Oh, it's a woman of color
Right.
who would be helping up
By
with."
going with the shallowest possible interpretation of what progressives want, right? And
Yes,
not actually looking at policy or anything.
that's exactly right. That's exactly it. So, I mean, that I think also is like shocks a lot of people. And maybe it talks about, and really, it gets into kind of, it's sad in my opinion, just how the how identity has been, uh, there's so much, what's the word? How a lot of corporatists have used identity politics to their advantage, or tried to have used it to their advantage.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Um, and it stinks.
Well, we're going to I think we're only going to see more of it in the Biden presidency, and it's probably going to get a little bit more wilder in terms of how manipulative a lot of that stuff is going to get. I mean, I don't want to be too cynical or negative about it. I do. It's like I'm excited to see a female black vice president. I just wish it was not Kamala Harris. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
Neera Tanden would probably be an amazing OMB whatever if she wasn't also just Donald Trump. Like that's
Well, she's gonna push she's gonna push Biden's policies no matter what, and
I gotcha.
whoever in that position is gonna be pushing for his policies.
Right, right.
I think everyone should be expecting that. There was actually somebody was saying like, well, they also thought that because there was an alternative, they thought that another person who a lot of progressives were upset with was Bruce Reed. That was said was kind of the alternative.
Okay.
But I don't think it really matters. I mean, I could be mistaken because they said I think Bruce Reed would call for more cuts if
Yeah.
he was, and this like I said, this position, this office of management and budgeting, it's important for figuring out the presidential budget
Right.
essentially. So I don't know. We'll
Have
see. We'll
have we
see.
said anything nice about the president this episode, by the way?
Uh, he says nice words.
Yeah, let's go with that.
He says nice words. He does. He does. I mean, hey, I prefer his words.
To his actions.
His actions.
His
Well,
actions are okay, but his words are great.
yeah.
The best words. Well, let's since we're getting towards the end of our hour here, let's
Yeah.
conclude with the final topic as provided by our producer David. One that I've been
Yes.
following, with all of my Coast to Coast AM Twitter follows and whatever. Is the monolith situation going on across the world.
Yes.
So, SOCO, I don't know if have you seen like all of the monoliths?
I heard one in California. I heard one in Romania. There was another one I heard about. I forget.
It's in Utah. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
they're all like steel gray monoliths. Gotta say though, the one in Romania, if these are being set up by aliens, this must have been like the extraterrestrial interns because the Romanian one is not so great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it is. It was a little shoddily put together
It's
from
not.
the looks of it.
It's not shiny at all.
It's not as shiny. It's got like weird squiggly patterns on it. It also looked like the welding was not really done very well because you could kind of see in it. For whatever reason, though, the Utah and California monoliths impeccable, the best monoliths in America. But
American manufacturing at its highest.
American extraterrestrials at their finest. But the other aspect, I don't know if this is the case of the Romanian monolith, but so the California monolith, the most recent one, got torn down, right? So
Okay.
depending on which news outlet, it was either torn down by a bunch of young men or it was torn down by vicious racists. I'm not sure, what the case is. Maybe all is true. But the Utah one, it was just taken down by people who didn't want, because it was put up in a national park.
Okay. Yeah.
So they were just like, what is this doing here? Like this, because the assumption is this is just like a bunch of random people, which I think they're wrong because I think it's either the CIA or aliens. So.
I actually just I was actually thinking about these monoliths, and well, tell me more of the story. Tell me more of the story. If there's any more.
I have nothing left because there's not really that much to the story other than somebody is putting up these monoliths, and we don't know who.
Well, I was actually I thought it was really timely. It kind of because this could be a sign. Monoliths. There was some other UFO stuff that happened in the past year or whatever.
Yeah.
That we could be returning back to 1990s Clinton era.
Very much so. Or maybe disclosure is near. Disclosure is the event that many UFO aficionados dream about when the government finally announces the U.S. government finally announces to the public that yes, indeed, UFOs are real, aliens are real. We have the UFOs at Area 51. We have all this technology, and here's everything you need to know because we're about to go to war, and this is why Space Force exists.
Yes. Star Trek future.
But odds are they're just random. They're are not random, but they're monoliths being put together by some group of weirdos on the internet who are like trying to do some performance art project or raise quote unquote raise consciousness or whatever the hell.
It's Instagram, folks. It's Instagram, folks. They just want more likes.
I mean, like, it is interesting because this is going back to the 90s thing, right? Like crop circles. That was a huge thing, and this is very similar to crop circles. There have not been any reportings of crop circles that have been put onto into mainstream attention. It's just been the monoliths. And I would think if somebody were doing this appropriately, there would be some crop circles to accompany these monoliths, but so far, no dice.
I wonder, Matt. I really wonder what.
This is a story that I think we're going to keep an eye on because I think it's going to be in further development. I suspect that the California monolith was not the last monolith, and I am eager to find out what happens next.
Well, I wonder. I'm eager to find out what happens next too. So there's gonna be a new X-Files probably, Matt. That's coming. It's
I don't want any more. I was done with the reboot. The reboot wasn't that good either.
Wait, you're talking about the movie? Last movie?
No, there was like a reboot on Netflix or something.
That's right. I forgot about
Nobody watched it because everybody was like, because during that period, it was like rewatching X-Files on Netflix and was like, oh, X-Files is so good. And then, they're like, well, we'll make some new ones. And then everybody's like, nah, that's all right.
All right. Well, We're at close to the hour. Right?
We're at the hour, so now is the time where we announce the price of Dogecoin.
Yes.
So
Of course.
December 5th, 2020
Mhm.
at 6:43 p.m. The price of Dogecoin is 0.003418.
Oh
So
my god! Whoa, that's a up, isn't it? Compared to
it's
last.
about the same. It's
Okay.
about the
Oh,
same as last week. They're still following the same Bitcoin rally.
it's a
Bitcoin
very
is.
stable. It's a very stable coin, though. I have to say.
I am surprised that it is keeping this level,
Yeah.
quite frankly. Um, so it's been following Bitcoin, which the price of Bitcoin now is at $19,249 per coin.
Is that the highest it's been, or did it hit 20K at one
No,
point? It hit
it's
20,
hit like it's hit at
20K like
least
3 years ago.
23. Yeah, it's hit at least 23K in the
Okay.
past. Last year, I want to say.
Was the last year? Okay. Yeah, I remember something like that. I remember that. Oh man,
Well,
Dogecoin.
Soko, I'm glad that you survived Neera Tanden's CIA attack on your mind.
I'm glad too. Little. It was definitely not me unplugging something. All right. Well, folks, I think we're done with this episode. Until next time, right, Matt?
Yeah, until next time, stay safe, stay sexy.
Stay sexy. Oh, especially stay sexy. All right. Later.
Good night.